episode 569 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. On this Friday night of pro wrestling, I'm going to be talking all about WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage, and maybe go over a little bit of news in the world of pro wrestling after the recaps. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hey, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to this Friday night episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And as usual, on a Friday night episode, gonna be talking about WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. And then I'll see after the two recaps if there's any big, exciting news going on in the world of pro wrestling that we could talk about, which there usually is. But first, let's get started and let's talk about WWE Friday Night Smackdown for Friday, March 15th, 2024. Smackdown was live tonight in Memphis, Tennessee, from the FedEx Forum. Our commentators tonight, Corey Graves and Wade Barrett. And we started off tonight's SmackDown with another live, didn't mean to say live, but another long promo from The Rock. No word yet on if this one went long again like his last one a little while back, where the women's match on the show that night ended up having to be cut short. Haven't heard anything about that yet, but he did go a little long once again. And, of course, he cuts a promo making fun of Cody Rhodes crying and wanting to hand the Universal Championship over to his mother. Very heel promo from The Rock tonight. And he finished up his promo with saying, "If you smell what the final boss is cooking." And The Rock actually was the only member of the Bloodline who was on SmackDown tonight. And to kick off the in-ring action on SmackDown this week, we get Legado del Fantasma defeating the Latino World Order to qualify for the WrestleMania 6-pack ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And the Viper Randy Orton defeated Grayson Waller with Austin Theory, and the United States Champion Logan Paul was on commentary for this match. And after there's a 2-on-1 attack, or a 3-on-1 I should say, and then Kevin Owens comes out, makes a save, and then we see SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis and makes for WrestleMania a three-way match for the WWE United States Championship. Logan Paul defending against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Santos Escobar defeats Dragon Lee. And then post-match we see Rey Mysterio come out, make the save. New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate defeat Pretty Deadly in another qualifying match for that tag team championship ladder match. And then in the main event of Smackdown tonight, it is Bayley defeating Dakota Kai, who of course had damage control in her corner at ringside via disqualification. So that was this week's episode of WWE Friday Night Smackdown. And now, as usual, on Friday night, it is time to go over onto TNT and talk about AEW Rampage. And this week's Rampage was taped in Boston Wednesday night after Dynamite at the TD Garden Arena. And our commentators for tonight, we have Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and returning to commentary on Rampage for the first time in quite a while, Chris Jericho back on commentary on Rampage. And we have tag team action starting things off for us first. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta with Chuck Taylor in their corner defeated the Dark Order, Evil Uno and John Silver. Timeless Tony Storm and Mariah May defeated Kayla Sparks and Little Mean Kathleen. Representing the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Commander with Alex Abrahantes. They told a pretty good story in this one with Chris Jericho being on commentary that he was told not to get physically involved. After the match, though, Takeshita showed respect to Commander. And now, as Mark Henry would say, it's time for the main event. The Undisputed Kingdom, the AEW International Champion Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett defeat the team of Action Andretti and Top Flight Dante Martin and Darius Martin in a trios match. So that was tonight's Rampage. And altogether, that was our weekly Friday night pro wrestling lineup. I don't know if I would say these were two of the best episodes of Rampage and Smackdown that I have ever seen. But at the same time, I also would not say that these were the worst episodes either. I'd say they were just good, and I'm not saying that in a bad way either, but both episodes were just kind of there. Did have good matches on them, I thought. And now, before I wrap up this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 569, the brackets for the AEW World Tag Team Championship to determine new AEW World Tag Team Champions. The brackets are now revealed. And here are the matches we will see in the tournament. The Young Bucks will be taking on Private Party. The Undisputed Kingdom will be taking on the winners of the first wild card match, which will be the Best Friends versus the Don Callis family. And Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill will be taking on Top Flight. And FTR will be taking on the winners of the second wild card match, which will be the Infantry taking on the House of Black. So those are the brackets for the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament. And the finals will take place April 21st at the Dynasty pay-per-view. And some news. Darby Allin, his climb of Mount Everest is going to have to be delayed now to a broken foot. I'm sure he is definitely disappointed by that. He has been talking about that for a while. They really put it over while talking about the match at Revolution 2 and the last Wednesday on Dynamite. But now, because of a broken foot, obviously that is going to have to be put on hold for now anyway. But knowing Darby Allin, I believe as soon as he's able to, as soon as that broken foot heals up, he'll probably be right there climbing Mount Everest. Also, a match has been made for tomorrow night for AEW Saturday Collision. The American Dragon Bryan Danielson will go one-on-one with Katsuyori Shibata. That should be a very good match. And I'm sure Bryan Danielson is loving being in AEW now, facing all these top Japanese superstars. Probably a dream come true for the American Dragon. Also, a TBS championship match has been added to Collision in Ottawa. Julia Hart will be defending against Trisha Dora. And there's one thing that actually I did forget to mention about Rampage tonight. We did get a very good video package on Queen Amanada. I apologize for not mentioning that during the Rampage recap. And that is about all the news I have for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, episode 569. Thank you everyone for listening and downloading. And in the comment section, you can leave your thoughts and your opinions and your ratings on tonight's episodes of Smackdown and Rampage. Or anything you want to talk about, as long as it is pro wrestling. That's all that matters. Also, there is now a way you can support 360 Wrestling Podcasts. Right now on Spreaker, I am not sure if there's a certain URL or what, but maybe you can just, if you're listening to Spreaker right now, on Spreaker, that's where you're listening, you could probably just go to the main 360 page on Spreaker, probably find out how to support. It's only $5 a month. You don't have to, but if you can, maybe support 360 Wrestling Podcasts, as they say, help keep the lights on. it would definitely be appreciated if anybody can support the podcast. And that's all for tonight's episode. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a special episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. A special holiday episode, that is. Or at least it's a holiday to me anyway. 3/16, Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. And it's a tradition for 360 Wrestling Podcasts to do a special episode. So tomorrow for Good Morning Wrestling Fans will be the special Stone Cold Day episode. So tune in for that tomorrow morning. So hopefully everyone that is listening right now will join me. But until then though, I am Lance and I am a wrestling fanatic.